You know what makes me feel as pretty as a flower? Can't you tell? When my feminine hygiene is on point. Hi there. Sergeant Brave is on vacation. Ruby's here. That's my name. So today I want to discuss with you all understanding your menstrual cycle and some things that you need that you may not know about concerning that and concerning your lady parts. So first, we gotta get into my treasure box. And no, I don't mean any derogatory terms. If you can't hear me well, I do encourage you to turn that volume up. Ruby doesn't yell. It's more like a projection of the voice. Anyway, this is my treasure box of feminine hygiene products. Kind of scrambled a little bit, but a nice, neat way to store your feminine hygiene. That's not the first tip that we're going to discuss. The first goal to understanding your feminine hygiene is just to be familiar with your cycle. Some ladies' cycles are anywhere from 7 days, 3 days, 5 days, anywhere in between. And it is best to know the functionality of how your cycle works. 28, generally speaking, medically, when it comes to our reproductive parts, ladies, 28-day cycle. And one of the first things that's coming to mind is to just be aware of your cycle and keep track of it. There are apps for these types of things, and you could also track it by other means, your personal calendar, whether it's on your phone, computer, digitally, or if you want to go the old school route, the desk calendars. We sit on a desk and the boxes are huge, and it's a 12-year, sometimes 18-year. That's the number one thing that I'd like to share with you all regarding feminine hygiene. The first goal and key that will help propel everything else regarding your feminine hygiene is to keep track of its cycle, because although the general medical term, and I'm not a medical professional, have to say that. Although the general term for us, the general cycle is 28 days, it's good to keep track of it yourself. It is important for on the go for you to keep what I like to call a feminine hygiene kit. What does that need to contain? Now we go into the treasure box. We're gonna need pads of each absorbency. This happens to be one absorbency, and I believe it is regular. Then you're going to need at least 2 types of absorbencies of tampons if you use them. Now, if you don't use them, you could skip ahead of this part, or you could just listen to it and then you don't have to make a mental note. And then 2 regular, 2 super. Sometimes I do three of each absorbency: regular, super, super plus. I think it's the highest that I know that it goes of, at least in Always brand. You're going to need deodorant suppositories. What are deodorant suppositories? I'm working in here. I don't have those in front. They're deodorant suppositories. It's not the one that make you, it moves them bowels along. No, that's the wrong side of things. Okay. So deodorant suppositories, you utilize them in the same way that you do tampons. So just like you insert a tampon, yeah, you insert a deodorant suppository. A lot of times the deodorant suppositories are either fragrance free for those of you that are sensitive, or you just don't want that down there. You have concerns about pH balance. You have concerns about maybe discharge. Did I mention that the disclaimer that this is for ladies only? Or if you have a daughter, I didn't. This is the disclaimer. Love you both. Thank you. Anywho, and that's meant to deodorize the area. Norforms is a popular brand. May not be popular to you, but to me, that's what I was first introduced to. Since then, I found out about Norforms having the island tropical mango, tropical whatever tropical scent, and I found out about Vagisil and that there's fragrance free. But I know the OG is Norforms, infamous purple packaging, purple and white. So it comes in a pack of 12. They're gonna look like you can load them into a water gun, stuff like that. And the same way you insert a tampon is the same way you insert a deodorant suppository. So it does come with an applicator that happens to look like a writing utensil, about this long. And if you're squeamish, I do encourage you to click out or either skip ahead. I'll try to put time stamps the best way that I can. It's Ruby looking out for you. You take the, it looks like I'm blushing, but I'm wearing blush. Okay. You take the deodorant suppository, the applicator that it comes with, looks like a writing utensil about this length. Then you unwrap out of foil. Looks like aluminum. It's just a bit more stronger and sturdier, so that way it's just not going all over the place and melting. Because these things melt, they change with the temperature as well as shape. Put it on the applicator on top, and get yourself in a comfortable sitting position. I think that's in the directions as well in the box once you undo it. And you insert that in. You introduce that into your lady parts. Insert that in. And then what that does is, in the same way that you have tampons, that they work to absorb your leakage, your discharge throughout the month. Deodorant suppositories work the opposite, to rather cleanse and flush that out. Now, I do want to let you know, FYI, that although I'm suggesting deodorant suppositories, I'm going to go ahead and use some medical terms here and put a second disclaimer that I'm not a medical professional. So if you're squeamish, again, this is your time to leave. If you have not left before then. Okay. A woman's vagina is made, it has an internal heating system, internal cleansing system, and that's the way that God intended it. So after our cycle every month, it's self-cleansing, and that's what takes place. And so when you use a deodorant suppository, that the way that organ works, the internal heat from our vaginas are warming up that deodorant suppository, and then it just melts away. And where else does it go? It has no other place but to go where? Down and out and expel itself from us. So with that being said, I would heavily suggest that if you're utilizing deodorant suppositories, and I'm going to go ahead and get to how often you should use them, and better yet, when during the time of month you should use them and when you should not. All suggestions. I heavily suggest, if you're using a deodorant suppository at any time, please wear a pad. Please wear a pad once you have inserted one, because it's going to come out feeling like my menstrual cycle's on again, but it's a deodorant suppository. Maybe you might need to set yourself a reminder and maybe not name it deodorant suppository, but code name it or something. Because it's going to come out feeling like, oh, my cycle's on. Oh, it ain't no, it's over. That's how the deodorant suppository works. Get it? Got it? No? Okay. When are the best times to use deodorant suppositories? 1, just after your period. Definitely just after. 2, maybe it's been a week or 2 after your period and you've either not used one yet and you're just sticking to the feminine wash route, and I'm not mad at that, or you feel the hormonal changes, the mood swings, whatever you have that normally comes with a woman's menstrual cycle, and you want to be fresh before it starts, even though throughout the whole process that you're going to have to maintain that cleanliness anyway. I know you got another question. Should I use them every day? No. And that's just been a personal choice of mine. I do not suggest utilizing feminine deodorant suppositories every day, which is why I suggest either just as your period's about to come on or right after. So that way, even though you're using medical terms again, and I'm not a medical professional, so if you squeamish, again, this is your third warning. A woman's vagina is self-cleansing. That does not mean you slack from using feminine hygiene and everything. Okay. Or use fragrance soap down there. And if you do, um, everything in moderation. Plus you don't want to use deodorant suppositories every single day, and then you're possibly putting yourself at risk of heavily disturbing your pH balance. Now, another thing when it comes to understanding your menstrual cycle, have the snacks ready. Now, does that mean go buck wild to flick of the wrist? No. But when you're coming up on, going into, during and after your menstrual cycle, you will have certain cravings where it's just like, I gotta have it. But you also, if you're health conscious, you have to know, you have to strike a healthy balance between, okay, whatever I put in my gut, my stomach is going to expel itself in that exact smell out of, from whence, from the flower garden that is your vagina. Again, if you squeamish, then it's time for you to leave, baby. I am sorry, but even now I'm not being vulgar because I'm not using slang. Okay, that'll make me better or worse than nobody. It's just I need to make it plain. Bars. I just walked right into that. But be mindful, what you put in your gut, what you eat is going to expel itself, and you're wondering why you get all them potatoes and then you smell like potatoes. Same thing happens when you eat the potatoes and they come out the other, you know, yeah, the other way. And then you have gas, and then, you know, one passing of the gas will clear out a room, and we have a problem, and everyone is all of a sudden running for air fresheners of of great excess, and by the time they're done spraying yours, it's gone out of an aerosol can. I'm just saying, you don't want that for your lady parts. That's all. Another great thing, not only should you have your feminine hygiene kit for on the go, perfect place to buy bags, makeup bags. Makeup bags purposely, I believe they purposely do that. They come in, like, they come in sets. So you have the clear bag, the colored bag, floral, a print, and then you have a solid and then a clear. A print, a solid, and a clear. You don't believe me? Go look. Just go look. Even if you're not in the arena for one, even if you're not in need for one. You also need to have an organization system for at the house. So right now this looks kind of a mess, but I got the pads stacked up on one end. I got the tampons of every absorbency that I'm comfortable with, that works for me. And I got different types. The Radiant. Then I have the shorter ones in here as well. And I would suggest putting deodorant suppositories in there, a pack of wipes, or you can get one of those organizer fabric totes. And you can go ahead and stack those things in there very neatly like that. Medications over the counter, should you use them? I would say in moderation. Again, not a medical professional. If you're looking for alternative routes, be mindful what you eat. Try to stay far away from caffeine. I know if you have them cravings, caffeine and chocolate too. So dark chocolate, milk chocolate, it's in chocolate, period. That way it is. But if you're gonna go ahead with the chocolate, don't pair it with a pop, a soda, ginger ale, unless you know you're having nausea, because that's one of the symptoms as well you will likely have during your menstrual cycle and running up to that. Midol is okay. Ibuprofen is okay unless you have some sensitivities or allergies or anything. But the natural route, try to minimize your caffeine intake because that could lead to any headaches or cramps or anything. If you have any cramps, I would suggest a heating pad. If you don't have a heating pad or you don't want to consider it or do not care, you getting all over here. I would definitely suggest the sock rice trick. What is that? Now I brought that up. Oh, it's been a while ago. Take a very clean sock. In fact, buy brand new socks for this. Brand new socks, large. Bag of white rice or just rice, period, uncooked, dried rice. If you do cook rice, you're asking for trouble, baby. Because have you ever smelled rice water? Smell funkier? Nobody like that. Take your sock. You're also going to need needle and thread. So I suggest using if you're familiar, the hair sewing thread that you use for hair weave, needle and thread of that. Take your brand new sock, large, like the high water ones, up the leg. There's a reason why I'm saying this. Take your dry rice, pour it in there, uncooked. Then take and sew up the open end of the sock. I suggest looping around. Unless you have a sewing machine, run it across 3 times. If you don't have a sewing machine, hand sew it and go back and forth for a total of 3 times. 1, it ensures that it is completely locked in. There's not a grain of rice that's going to get out. You're fine. This is going to be a reusable alternative to a heating pad. And so once you've done that and you've sealed it up really tight and sewed up that loose end of the sock, after putting the rice in there, dried, uncooked, or bagged rice, whenever you have cramps, and this is something I tried way before I got my heating pad. Put it in the microwave for about 30 seconds to a minute. Take it out. Here's what takes place. See, I'm the biggest nerd here. When you warm up that sock full of that dry, uncooked rice, that's sealed in there. You done sealed it and sewed it up, or either sewing machine. When you warm up that rice like that for 30 seconds to a minute, that now holds that heat in there long enough for you to place it on yourself, flatten it out, and for it to alleviate some of that pain for you. That's all I need to say. I don't need to add nothing to it. What should you eat while you're on your period? Avoid the caffeine. Avoid sweet as much as possible. I know chocolate is a popular option. If you're allergic to chocolate, you don't like chocolate, find your alternatives. The healthiest 100% fruit-based gummy candy. I suggest looking into how to make gummy candy. It's not a cooking channel, so I'm just throwing out quick suggestions. Pillows, because that's the thing. You have your main 2 pillows on the bed, but you want to have a long pillow. Almost that pillow that the women have when they're pregnant. You want to have an elongated pillow specifically for not sleeping on and putting your head on. To squeeze and squeeze and squeeze and, kind of alleviate some of that pressure you have while you're sleeping. How should you sleep? With a tampon in, the highest absorbency you can get, but whatever absorbency you're comfortable with, do it. A pad and a tampon of the highest absorbency that you personally are comfortable with. I got more videos on feminine hygiene, so I'm going to point you to those on either side for your enjoyment. And again, my name is Ruby, and it's been a pleasure. This is a great introduction. Love you. When I think about love, it's one of the bravest things that you can do. It is patient. It is kind. It does not envy or boast. And it'll keep you on the coast of not being rude or self-seeking. Nor is it easily angered or seething mad. And it keeps no records of wrongs. It has no pleasure in evil, but it rejoices in the truth. And most of all,